back. Me and Matt again. Good afternoon, everybody. How are you, Matthew?
Bleary-eyed.
A little bit bleary-eyed. We'll come on to that in a minute. Welcome, everybody. This is Talking Town. No Gov today. He's got a few family issues that he's dealing with, so we wish him all the best. If you're watching live, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. We are on the way to 6K, Matt. We are about 480-ish short.
Do you remember he was on the way to 4K? That wasn't that long ago, was it?
I was remembering we had 20 people watching at the start.
Nick Muller.
If you're watching and you don't subscribe, smash the subscribe button. If you're watching on catch up, hit the like button. Comment for the algorithm and also comment today because we're doing this is our transfer. Look, we've got no idea who we're going to sign. We've just thrown a few players together and we're going to chat about. Yeah. If there's any players you think Town should look at and who are on your radar, drop them in the comment section, Matt. I think that's a good idea on the old YouTube.
Exactly. Just sparking a bit of debate here. We've got no idea. We've got no idea who we're going to sign, do we? So,
but leave your comments if you're watching live as well and you're in the live chat. Pop them in there. And yeah, just have a fun 60 minutes. Matt's got to go. He's off to the cricket. Essex Middlesex today, yeah? Yeah. So I've T20.
Is it short weather? It wasn't short weather yesterday, was it?
It's warm. It's warm now. What time will we wrap up tonight? About 7? Gone to about 7?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, if I was you, maybe take a change of trousers, maybe just in case anyone pours any beer on you.
This happened last year, everybody.
But there is a cricket show coming on Tuesday night. World Cup started this morning. USA beat Canada. Listen to a bit of that. Aaron Jones is the kid. I don't know if you know what he done, Matt, today. He hit 94. He hit 10 sixes. Only the second time ever in a T20 that there was 10 sixes in an innings as USA won by 7 wickets. Although when I see it's the USA and Corey Anderson's playing for him, who is a Kiwi, he's played for New Zealand and now he's playing for the States. Yeah. So, I'm a little bit baffled. But I think we're live at 9 on Tuesday. If you like your cricket, come and get involved. Anyway, where should we start then, Matthew? Shall we get onto our shopping list?
Well, let's say a thank you to Craig.
Yes,
yesterday because we had a nice barbecue at his pad yesterday, didn't we? We was invited there.
Yeah, over there at the gaff. Had a tour of little Jake's bedroom. Ipswich Town memorabilia everywhere.
The kit
I stayed very late. To watch the Champions League. Had 2 hours sleep. Went to work this morning. But yeah, lovely day.
I stayed up for the boxing.
A little bit chilly, wasn't it? A little bit chilly. Well, a little bit windy.
Yeah, it wasn't sure weather. I stayed up for the boxing. Didn't even enter
5v5. 5v5. Frank Warren.
Didn't even enter about 1:45.
Frank Warren took home all the marbles.
2 points. Yeah.
Anyway, right. So this is our shopping list. I've got a list of names. We might as well start where every team starts, Matt, with your goalkeepers. I've got a lot of goalkeepers. I don't know how many you've got down, but we'll let you go first. You can throw me a name.
I like Haladki, but as I said to you at the barbecue with you...
Euro sweepstake, Dominic Dean, will be next week when Gov is here. Because I think he's going to have the wheel. I don't think I'm here next Sunday because I'm reffing. I've got 2 days reffing.
The wheel's coming back out, isn't it?
I think the wheel's out.
Yeah. We'll get it done before
Don't fret anybody because it's not a fix. It's not a fix because we've had a little bit of controversy on Twitter with a couple of competitions that we run. Nothing to do with us. It was just in conjunction with Talking Town. Wasn't drawn by us. And 2 of my boys happened to win the quiz. I mean, what are the odds?
I know.
What are the odds? But yeah, next week we've got 24 names. Gov's going to pop them all on the wheel, and then you will get allocated your team because it's the Euros. I think we might do some Euro shows, Matt. I think Gov was on about. We've got a busy June. We've got the fixtures coming out.
Yes.
Talking Town of 4. So I think we're going to have 4th birthday party show.
4 years old.
I think Craig Forrest is coming on. I think we're going to have Craig Forrest back on.
The ledge.
At some point.
Friend of the show.
And then another big interview to come later in the summer. But we're not telling you who that is.
Well, Craig Forrest is a nice little segue into our number one, isn't it? Because we were chatting with Craig yesterday, weren't we? Now, I'm still all in on Haladki. I think he had a great season. But, you know, as I said to you yesterday, now you're in the Premier League, if someone better is around, then I suppose you've got to bring out the guillotine Gov and...
It'd be interesting when we have Craig on to talk. I know football's changed from when he played back in '92 when obviously Town won the division under John Lyall, and then we went to the inaugural Premier League. It'd be interesting to get his thoughts on what it's like to face a striker in the Championship or First Division as it was
Yeah.
then, and then to make that step up. I'm not saying like he can't make it, but he would not be my number one goalkeeper coming into the season.
Well, if I was to go with a number one, if I was to try and find someone, because look, keepers are 10 a penny, really, aren't they? But they've got to fit into the mold that we think we're going to play, which is probably what has been successful for us so far on playing out the back. So I would look at someone like Daniel Bentley, who's used to be at Brentford and Bristol City, now sitting on the bench at Wolves. So I think he'd done like something like 300 appearances for like Brentford and Bristol City.
Southend as well, wasn't he? Started at Southend.
Southend, yeah, he's Essex lad, I think.
Yeah.
Essex. Another good reason to sign him. But yeah, he's back up to that Jose Sarr, is it, the Portuguese lad at Wolves? But the fact that he can play out the back, I think he had to reshape how he played football really to incorporate it into the Brentford model. And I don't know, I just feel like he's 30 years old. He's a good age. He's younger than Hladky. He can play out from the back, bowl accounts. He's very good at, he's a shot stopper. He comes for crosses. He'll leave his line. So I think he would tick all the boxes that McKenna's looking for in a keeper. So if Hladky, we still don't know what Hladky's situation is, do we? But what his contract?
Yes,
like.
Still no contracts been signed.
I would say if Vaz moved on with all our blessings, wherever it might happen, then I think Bentley could possibly jump at the chance to be part of Ipswich.
Tommy Lee in the chat. I did have this guy, but I don't think he come. Jack Butland, Michael Wills has got Nick Pope, Charlie Setterfield, Michael Cooper. He's on my list.
We like Cooper from League One days, don't we? But I don't know what he's like with his feet. I mean, when we had the Plymouth fans on, they said he bowls the ball out. Now, whether or not that's going to give you the pace of attack from box to box, I don't know. Good keeper, though. I agree. Yeah, great shot.
I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 7 goalkeepers for you, mate. I've got 7. And my number one I will leave till last because I think you know who he is because I told you the other day. I've got a couple of wild cards. Look, don't get carried away, guys, if we throw a couple of wild cards out. We might not sign these players. This is a few names who are out there. Yeah, so, obviously, with your Man United link to Kieran McKenna, David De Gea, still not got a club. Been training at Altrincham, putting videos out.
Maybe he'll end up playing there, non-league.
Loris Karius, released by Newcastle.
Yeah.
I've got Sam Johnson. He's at Crystal Palace. Yeah. See, I'd like someone, if ideally, who has played in the Premier League, because I think we spoke on Thursday with the McKenna contract show. If you haven't watched it, still available. Go and have a look at that. But we did talk there about James Trafford when he signed for Burnley. Good young goalkeeper. Rumoured to go to Chelsea now, Matt. So relegation doesn't affect you much nowadays, as we see with Vincent Kompany going to Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
But James Trafford hadn't played in the Premier League. He was really good at Bolton, had a really good loan spell there. And then he made that leap up. And he did struggle a little bit, didn't he? So this is where I'm at a little bit with, I'd like to get, I'd like to get a goalkeeper who has actually played at this level.
That's the issue with Bentley. I mean, like I say, he's had a lot of championship games, nearly 300. I mean, he's done like 5, 6, 7 appearances for Wolves, but they've been in dispatches. Do you know what I mean? So I suppose that's the only drawback on him, but he would fit our style of play. And look, Karius is still remembered for the Champions League debacle, isn't he?
Yeah. So Stephen Parry's got Kepa, Azabalaga, Chelsea in the chat. Rax Max says, stick with what we've got. Keep the cash for better defenders. Yeah, possibly.
I don't disagree with that either, quite frankly.
So, Sam Johnson. And then we've got Alex Palmer from Chris Hall's team, West Brom.
He'd be crestfallen if we were to sign him, which is one of the reasons to sign him. Most clean sheets in the champ, I think.
Good goalkeeper. Michael Cooper. Talk to me about him. Very good goalkeeper. I don't think the Fisherman's watching, but he's high on the Fisherman's list.
Yeah, I really like him.
I had 2 knee operations, though, Matt.
This is the issue for him, isn't it? Yeah, can you keep him fit? I reckon someone would have taken a punt on him into the Premier League as a backup keeper by now. He was so good in League One.
Yeah.
As we just said, there's a question mark over his feet because when the Plymouth lads had come on the show last season, the season before, were saying that he bowls the ball out. So I don't know whether or not that would give you the pace of attack that McKenna would be looking for. Because look how good Hladky's been, like the Cruyff turn on the byline that leads
Phil
to
Blundell says I would stick with Vaz and Walton and rotate them throughout the season. See, I don't think Christian Walton will be here. I think they'll take the like De Zerbi at Brighton. I think he changed his keeper like 17 times. I wouldn't be changing my goalkeeper. I want to be sticking with that. I think Christian Walton, he needs to go and play like I think we said before. He'd probably take up that 12-month option, Matt, and then they'll probably try and get a bit of
Yeah.
cash for him. So
A nominal fee, most likely, because we paid a nominal fee for him in the first place. It was like 100 grand, wasn't it? Not even that.
So
maybe.
Michael Cooper, he's on my list.
Good keeper, yeah, I agree with that.
Rushworth at Swansea,
Yeah.
excellent young goalkeeper. He cleared all the awards at Swansea's awards night, Player of the Year, Players Player.
Yeah.
On loan from Brighton. Little bit, like I said, worries me a little bit. Hasn't played Premier League football, so that might, like with your Trafford. The one I want, I can't pronounce his
Yeah, this is the issue.
He's and his brother's got quite a strange
Gaelic names, aren't they? Irish Gaelic names, yeah.
So Kelleher at Liverpool. I'm not sure how much he'd cost. He's a very good goalkeeper, and he came out the other day and he said he wants to be a number one now. Been number two. Obviously, Alisson was injured and he played instead of him.
Yes.
The link for me, Rene Gilmartin is his coach at Republic of Ireland. So
don't underestimate, Rich, how some of these deals get done.
Yeah,
that link
for me, I think he'd be quite pricey if I'm being honest.
What would they be talking at? 8 million, 10 million,
no,
more than that?
I reckon 15 plus. I reckon. Wow. I think he's that good. I really do. I think he's a very good goalie. There you go. Stephen Parry reckons 30 million.
He got a run of games. He got a run of games at Liverpool, didn't he? Last season when Alisson was out. He's been there since. Isn't he an academy product out of Liverpool?
Yeah,
he's been there the whole time.
Look, highly rated. I think he'll obviously move on. But there's some goalkeepers for you. So if you've got any names, drop in the comment section on the YouTube, and we will move on now, Matt. To I think defensively we need to shore up a little bit because 57 goals was it last year?
This is the thing, isn't it? I mean, this is where we've given Don Goodman a lot of stick. Even the players have given Don Goodman stick. But he makes a great point. Everyone's always looking at who can score the goals to fire you to wins in the Premier League. But the fact that Sheffield United conceded 100 plus goals. It's like 200 goals, isn't it, between the three of them? I
think nearly 250 between them. Actually, just quickly in the comments here, Daniel Hill says we were linked with Rushworth in the Mirror this morning.
Oh right, okay. Well, there you go.
And Charlie's got one of your defenders.
What's he got?
Ethan Ampadu.
Ethan Ampadu. Well, we'll come to him in a minute. But yes, I do agree.
Go on. Quickly, Beresford Evans Blues quickly. He says Adam Webster and Tyrone Mings.
Adam Webster's had a good career, hasn't he, since he left Ipswich? Did he ever get in an England squad?
Don't think he got a call up. He's a very good player, a little bit injury prone. It's a bit like Mings. I think he wouldn't be a bad signing, but the only thing that worries me with him is obviously he done his knee, didn't he, on the first day of the season, and he hasn't played since.
No, like Tyrone Mings. Yeah.
Does he move on now? Does he move in on the pecking order at Aston Villa because obviously they're in Champions League now? So do they want to move him on and? Right, give me a couple of names then, Matt, on your defenders list. My defenders. So, look, we love Harry Clark, bleeds blue and white, and everyone loves Axel, right? Even the Gov got on that train. But I'd be looking for maybe a bit of an upgrade on right back, and I would go with someone who actually brings attributes that we don't have in the team already, and that's Darnell Furlong at West Brom. That long throw. I mean, Chris is going to be crestfallen if we nick the goalkeeper and then the right back comes. Yeah, I'll send him the link to the show so he can watch. He'll be fuming. He'll probably message me. But yeah, I mean, look, Darnell Furlong's long throw. I mean, look at the playoff game at Southampton. Went a bit shithouse, didn't they? And started putting ad boards around to stop him from getting the. Was there anything to stop him moving them? Because they were just like little small ones, weren't they? Yeah, he could have done, couldn't he? He could have kicked them out. But he's a solid defender, I think, and he's got Premier League experience. He's played in the Premier League for West Bromwich Albion, obviously, and QPR. And, when you sort of compare some of his strengths and weaknesses to Clark and Twanzebe. So, I mean, look, Twanzebe's playing out of position. So let's say Clark. I certainly think he's probably an upgrade on Harry Clark. Plus, he brings that throw in and, set-piece goals. What did McKenna say 2 seasons ago? If you're not scoring from corners, you're going to have issues in trying to get out of this league. He addressed that. And I think if we get options around the box to put a throw in there against Premier League opposition, then, that's as good as a cross, isn't it, that long throw? So I'd be looking at Darnell Furlong. What he'd cost, I don't know, probably somewhere like 3 to 4 mil, maybe even more. Talking of right backs, Ozil in the chat, Matt. He's gone for Van Iwick from Coventry. Very pacey. Yeah. He had a great run in that game, didn't he, when Sam Morsey was running alongside him. He literally must have run 70 yards down the right. Good player, Dutch. Yeah. Listen, look, Axel didn't let us down, did he? But I mean, look, whether or not
McKenna will be thinking Twanzabi's got a role to play in the middle of the park. Now we're back into the Premier League, which is obviously where he came through at Man United. I don't know. But for me, yeah, I'd go for Darnell Furlong at right back. And then if I'm looking at centre halves, yes, Ethan Ampadu. I mean, look, Ampadu, his attributes are unbelievable. And the fact that Leeds owe about 190 million in transfer installments means they are going to be selling players whether they like it or not. But look, he's still only 23. He can play centre half. He can play as defensive midfielder.
Yeah.
He's had over 50 caps for Wales already. He's played 60 times in Serie A for Venezia and Spezia, I think it is. He was never present last season. I think he's done like 25, 26 appearances in the Premier League. He had that spell at Sheffield United and a little run with Chelsea. Look, he's going to cost you wedge, but he's going to be at least 15 to 20 million, most likely.
He was at Bournemouth as well, wasn't he, Matt?
Oh, yeah, I think he was.
Yeah, he played for Bournemouth.
Yeah. But as Don Goodman says, you know, a lot of teams are just concentrating on strikers, but we've seen that the 3 teams that have gone down have shipped massive amounts of goals, but possibly a record amount of goals. So I think him coming in to us would be fantastic. Whether or not there'll be teams more established in the Premier League looking at him is probably likely, but look, we are a Premier League team and he's a championship player.
Adam Blamplate says, stop suggesting championship players, for fuck's sake. We are in the Prem now. You know that, right? Show some ambition. Adam, this is what we're saying. This is just a show where we're throwing a few names out there. Don't get upset with just because we're saying players. And look, you're saying that these are championship players. Don't forget the last game of the season against Huddersfield, we had 8 players who played in League One. And remember the last time when we went up under George Berlin, you had your Jermaine Wrights and you had your Claphams and Venuses, and people said that they couldn't make that step up. So just because you're a player who's playing in the Championship doesn't mean that you can't play Premier League football, Matt, does it?
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. I mean, you know, everyone's talking about Morsey now. Look, if we said, right, we're going to ditch Morsey out, well, go, what are you talking about?
I've just had a WhatsApp from my mate Jim.
Oh, yeah.
You know who he says centre-half?
Oh, go on.
Everyone's going to lose their shit in the chat. Harry Maguire. Perfect fit.
Oh, who knows? The whole United squad is up for sale, other than Garnacho and a couple of others.
Well, the whole squad's up for sale at Man U. The whole staff have been offered redundancy.
God.
We won't talk about Man United. Right, I've got a couple of right backs for you. I've looked in the old free transfer bin.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Premier League. These are Premier League. These are Premier League players who are out of contracts. So we got Cedric Suarez at Arsenal. Was at Southampton. I think he's 31. Ben Johnson, West Ham. He's actually been linked with Town.
Young lad, isn't it?
Yeah, he's not played a lot of Premier League football. Like these players now, they need to go and make a career for themselves.
Yeah,
because they're obviously not. He's not going to play for West Ham. Another player, he was on loan at Birmingham last year from Man United. Ethan Laird, good player.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, look, these lads have got experience under their belt with a season in the Football League, and then you give them an opportunity in the Premier League. I've got Jacob Greaves from Hull City, again 23 years old, won all the Player of the Year titles at Hull, been linked to West Ham, 15 million. They were trying to sign that. Yeah, left-sided. So he would be your. And look, he. If you look at his attributes, they go pretty much hand in hand with Burgess. Obviously, just a younger version of him. He was nearly ever present for Hull City last season, like you say, left-sided. West Ham linked, 15 mil. They were looking at that guy from Brazil, from Flamengo, Bruno. But I think that deal might have fallen through. So maybe they'll be looking at Greaves. I mean, if I was going to go in the bargain bins as a backup for Leaf, I'd probably look at someone like Paul Dummett, who's like 31, 32, been at Newcastle for like 10 years.
He can play left back and he's played about 215 games. I was looking last night.
It's not many in recent years.
He's obviously been released. Yeah, he's not played a lot, but he can play left back and he can play left side centre half.
We want to keep Leaf available for all 38 league games, don't we? But I think he would be an experienced head, Newcastle links, etc., on that left-hand side. So yeah, I think you've got to be strategic, haven't you, in your free transfers, where they might be your backup options or people that are.
You say there about Ampadu. I'm not saying we're going to sign him because I think he probably will stay at Leeds. But someone like him, Matt, who can play in a couple of positions, is ideal.
Absolutely.
You're going to need everyone in this squad to contribute this season.
Yeah,
they're all going to have.
Don't overlook the fact that if you do sign players out of the Championship into the Premier League, they've got the hunger. They've been given an opportunity to showcase on the world's biggest stage, world's biggest league. Bury St Edmunds
Blue says Kieran Tierney. He's obviously been released by Arsenal. Right, so I'll give you me left back. I've got linked to Town, obviously. Aaron Cresswell being released by West Ham. He's 34 now.
Has he been released? Is he by West Ham?
Yeah, I think he's out of contract. I think he's going. Look, there was quite a lot of noise this week. Ryan Sessegnon. He's
Good
been
player. He's a
released
good
by
young player,
Tottenham.
yeah.
He's 24.
He's still
He's
young,
had-
isn't he?
Yeah, and he's had quite a few injuries, and he needs to now go and play. So someone for him, look, he probably, if he's going to go, he might have to drop back down to the Championship for me to go and play regular. Because I think if he come to town, you're only going to be back up at the minute for Leaf on that. But he can play down that left side, Matt. He can play left midfield as well. So
yes, it's a really good shout. He was really good. Fulham, was it Fulham? He was at? Is that what they said? Yeah.
Centre backs. So on my list, I've also got young signings. So quickly go back to the goalkeeper. I went for Sam Tickle from Wigan.
Great name.
This is if you went for a goalkeeper and then maybe you, with an eye to maybe the future a little bit. But then people have said we got Kieran Slicker, so he's my goalie.
Yeah.
Centre backs, young centre backs. Charlie Hughes at Wigan also. He's 20, played 51 games last season, 4 goals. This guy, I've always raved about him. He will play in the Premier League, and he'll probably go to the Premier League this summer. Ronnie Edwards from Peterborough. I think they turned down 10 million from Palace, I think, in January, because I think that McAntony wanted to keep him. And I think Palace, no, he wanted to loan him back. I think Palace wanted to sign him without that loan back. So he's going to go. He's captain of England under 20s. He's at 20, Matt, and he's played 106 league games already. But the reason Peterborough want so much wedge is because Barnet have got a 50% sell-on. So whatever he's going for, Barnet are quids in.
They really are.
Yeah, so that's very, very sensible, that is. So that can pay for the little bit for the new ground, because they're obviously going back to Underhill, I think, aren't they, Barnet?
Yes, absolutely.
So they're me 2 young centre-backs.
I like it,
Then I've got my main centre-back I would go for is Joe Rodon.
All right, okay.
There's quite a lot. There's a bit in the chat there saying Rodon. He was on loan from Spurs at Leeds. Leeds had a really good back four, didn't they, this season? Didn't concede a lot. I think he's in the final year of his contract. It cost a bit of money. He's a Welsh international.
I was going to say he's Wales as well, isn't he?
I think he's only played across about 4 years since he signed from Swansea for Tottenham, about 20 games. So, and he's not been mentioned by Postecoglou, so he's going to move on. I know he likes it. I was chatting to a Leeds fan on Twitter, said his wife really loves living in Leeds. But the pull of Premier League football, this is what we've got now.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And so, McKenna. And don't forget McKenna being a hook as well.
But I think centre-back, it's, for me, it's, I'd really like, it's a bit like my goalkeeper. I'd like a Maguire would be perfect. Someone like him who's got that experience, who's played in that division. Because I think we are really going to need to tighten up defensively. I think we really are.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
And someone who comes with that experience is going to help everybody else. And this is why Axel, he'd probably get that 12-month extension. I'm not saying he's going to play every week, Matt, but he's got that experience. And he knows, look, he's the only player, I think, in this squad who's got Premier League experience, hasn't he? Twanzebe. I don't think there's anyone else who's played in. Well, obviously Kiefer Moore when he was on loan.
Kiefer when he was loan. Yeah, but absolutely. Yeah, no, you're right. Massimo play in the Premier League?
No, I don't think he played for Spurs in the Premier League because he was at Tottenham. We had him obviously when he was a youngster, wasn't he? He was at town, so
you'd be talking about players that have only got, probably single-digit appearances, wouldn't you? Yeah,
MK absolutely. Says in the chat, Maguire's salary will be out of our budget, which is fair comment. Oozle says, is he a free? Maguire, I don't think he's a free. I think he's probably got at least a year. But yeah, Rax Max, quick question for you from Rax Max. What would you do with Elkan Baggott, Matt?
What would I do with Elkan Baggott? See, I'm compromised here because Elkan brings eyeballs to Ipswich Town internationally. He'll go on loan surely somewhere. I mean, he needs... But then you don't want to get into the cycle forever loaning players like Corey Indaba, right?
Because there comes a time when they're not a young player anymore, and they're going to have to go and play, aren't they?
Exactly. Look, Elkan did all right in cameo appearances in the League Cup. He scored against Fulham, didn't he?
But we did speak about him and Cameron Humphries the other week, and it's like we're saying now we're in the Premier League to get these players Championship clubs, but it's hard for someone who's not played in the Championship to get them a Championship loan.
You're now prioritising Premier League safety over probably player opportunity, aren't you?
Well, the club's progressing quicker than they are progressing.
Yeah.
And they might get left behind in the mix now.
Yeah. I mean, that's something everyone's going to have to consider. We do like the young players coming through, albeit we've not really seen the conveyor belt of talent that we used to have under Burley. because we haven't been in that category one
Well,
status.
this is another thing, ain't it? That we're hoping that we can get now. And then I see in the week, can someone pop his name in the chat? He's got it was Rob Earnshaw's son. Left town.
Mexus. Yeah,
Mexus has gone to Man United. He's only 14.
Yeah. 14. Yeah,
so this is what at the minute. This is what we are. If someone comes in, we've got no sort of hold over him, have we? So if we can get that category one and we can establish ourselves in the Premier League, then we can progress our players on. Yeah. And then maybe sell them for 10, 15, 20 million.
We used to lament the fact that our youngsters never got decent loans. Like Elkin went to Gillingham, didn't he? And he was like, they were like scraping around at the bottom.
I thought that was all right for him because he went and played and he learned. Not like Amanda Dobra when he went to Colchester up the road.
Yeah, it's just ludicrous. But look, now we've got Premier League status. Yeah, we can loan these kids out into the Championship, and and if we do get relegated off the back of 38 games in the Premier League next season, then they'll be Championship ready, wouldn't they? So I mean, look, there is a bit of a win-win there. I think.
Interesting. Just on a little side note, I don't know if anyone's seen on the socials. There's a interview with Luke Wolfenden floating around from when we were in League One and we've lost 3-2 to Swindon. And I mean,
Scott Twine.
Yeah, and he looks virtually on the verge of tears in that interview, and you think how far we've come, how far he's come as a person and a player, because he was another one who was going to be out the door under Paul Cook. Now he's going to be playing in the He's a Premier League footballer. I mean, we love. This is what we're saying with our youngsters, Matt, coming through. He's one who's made that journey from relegation into League One, come all the way back, and now hopefully he's going to play in the Premier League for us.
Talking Town's also made that journey. If you go back into our archive, you can watch us losing our shit over that game. The 3-2 Scott Twine goals.
On the telly, wasn't it? That was on the telly, that game.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think there's some good options there, isn't there? I mean, it's whether or not McKenna and Ashton see the value in spending a lot of money on quality, given that we know that the three relegated teams this year have shipped a lot of goals. I think they probably will.
Bury St Edmunds Blue makes an interesting point in the chat here. He says we need to look abroad where the value is, and I think we probably will look into that market. Well, maybe a loan, because I know we're only allowed 2 loans from.
It's still a grey area, isn't it? Domestic.
You're only allowed 2 domestic, but I think you're allowed 2 or 3 from Europe. So you could top it up to I think 4 or 5. You're allowed 5, I think, in your matchday squad. So that's good to. Yeah, Bury St Edmunds Blue says it'll be fun watching the Euros on a scouting type mission. Don't watch don't let's have no El Hadj Diouf signings where we're signing somebody who's just had a decent big tournament, splash the cash.
Who was the lad we got? Carrick?
Amir Carrick. Absolutely dreadful. Terrible. Hardly played.
He was signed off the back of a tournament, wasn't he?
Well, we had him. You signed Ulrich Rapin, hardly played. I know he was unlucky he got injured. But I mean, if you're signing these players, we want them contributing, don't we now, really?
And also, off the back of tournaments, I suppose, they'll be coming off the back of a tournament and they won't be available for us pre-season, particularly. They'll have holiday after that and then they'll be playing catch-up, wouldn't they? Well,
James Sargent says in chat, was watching the episode when we sacked Cook. How fed up we were.
We were very fed up. That was after that cup game, wasn't it? The Barrow? It was Barrow, wasn't it?
Key to faith, Mark.
Yeah, Colin. Yeah.
Hope Colin's having a good holiday. He's down in Cornwall.
Yeah.
He's been doing some interesting writing on the beach, everybody.
He does this every year, doesn't he?
We've got Super Kieran McKenna in the sand.
It'd work better if he was
Premier League.
It'd work better if he was in Norfolk.
Yeah, but he's having a great time.
If you're watching Colin, next time you're up Hunstanton way, you could do that.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe I'll pass. Right, on to the midfielders. I've got some holding midfielders, Matt, for you. So we've got Al Nini, who's been released by Arsenal. Egyptian link there with Sam Morsey in the middle of the pitch.
Isn't he? Yeah.
John Lundstrom. He's been released by Rangers.
He's been going to Turkey potentially, but he's been good for them.
Obviously, if Mike's watching in the chat, this one's for you, Flynn Downs.
See, you would imagine he'll go to Southampton now, wouldn't you? They'll pull out all the stops to sign him.
I would have thought so. It depends if the new manager who wants to have a look at him at West Ham, maybe in pre-season. Yeah, he might have a little look. Stephen Parry says Lukonga in the chat. I think he was on loan at Luton from Arsenal. Right. Charlie says Gruev from Leeds. MK says take Sarah from down the road. I think he was
You going Palace?
He was linked with Crystal Palace in the week.
He's a good player.
Oh, yeah. Look, Joe C432. I will be coming to this player in a minute, Joe. Don't worry. I've mentioned him before. And this will be another one that people say, who? Don't want him. Right. So Flynn Downs. Obviously, Ben Sheaf. He's been widely linked with Town. It would be no surprise, Matt, if we signed him. I think he's 26. Good age.
Is he good age? Is he out of contract, or is there a fee involved on that one? Oh, he's out of contract, isn't it?
Callum O'Hare is out of contract, but Ben Sheaf is under contract.
Right, so he's
a good age at 26. He's one of these players you might spend 15 million plus on him, but I think you're going to get really good value down the road with him.
Absolutely, and he could grow to be a Premier League player, or you drop back into the Championship.
He come through at Arsenal. That's where he come from. He was at Arsenal, so
it's a really good shout.
And ex-Coventry, now at Sheffield United, Gus Hamer.
Very good. Very good.
It still baffles me a little bit why he chose Sheffield United. I know he wanted to play in the Premier League.
I know. Yeah.
But they just sold their two best players.
He'd been under the radar a little bit in Holland, didn't he? In the Netherlands.
Yeah.
With PSV, I think it was. Then Coventry obviously took the punt on him, and then with Goalkeeper. Yeah, he's a really good player. I mean, he plays in the middle of the park, but he's box to box, and he's very creative, and he scores goals.
Adam Blamplate says we've got Taylor, don't need Sheaf. I think Sheaf's a little bit of a upgrade, if I'm being honest, on Jack Taylor, and a little bit of a different player.
A bit of a different player. I mean, Sheaf's from distance. He's very unlucky not to score against us, wasn't he? At the end of the season,
great shot that one. Yeah, just into the
we don't know what's happening with Jack yet, do we? Look, as much as we all like him, he only made 17 appearances last season. He could go out on loan. Don't know. It's a funny one, that one. Be interesting to see as the summer progresses how that plays out.
Rax Max says, as much as I appreciate him, I'd be moving Luongo on. And MK says in the chat, and I've touched on this, Matt. Will we see more 4-3-3 next season over 4-2-3-1?
Maybe.
Oozle says Tyler Morton. He was on loan at Hull from Liverpool. Yeah, we can pat him on the back if he comes in over that miss kick for George Hurst. Thank you very much. Exactly. Lewis Robertson says Oliver Skip from Spurs. Some great names coming in there.
Great names there. I've got. I looked at who the two. So starting the season for you at the moment would be Morsey and Luongo, right? Is that what everyone's thinking? You're going to keep the two.
No, Luongo's not starting for me. There's going to be someone else. Another in there.
See, because we're talking about whether or not people can step up, and Morsey was under the radar when he signed for us. He wasn't even playing much for Middlesbrough, and Luongo never played for Middlesbrough at all, did he? When they signed, look at what linchpins they were. So I've kind of come up with two names there that I think kind of fit that mold a little bit. And the captain at Swansea is Matt Grimes. He's been there almost 10 years. He's still only 28.
Calvin Phillips. Adam says Calvin Phillips.
Get him in. Phillips won't let you down.
I think he might be going to, I think Everton are after him, but I would have thought with the breakdown, was it 7-7-7 at Everton?
Yeah.
That's all fallen through. So, tricky times for them. I heard that they might be getting another points deduction, Matt.
Really? Oh, God.
Yeah. It'd be quite handy, wouldn't it?
Don't ask West Ham fans about Calvin Phillips. I don't think they were too impressed with him. But
Wasn't great, was he?
Yeah, Matt Grimes, captain of Swansea, box to box,
good player.
defensive midfielder. Again, someone who's been under the radar. He's been established at Swansea, fits that leader model, a vocal voice in the middle of the park. So I think he's a little bit under the radar. Sam Field at QPR, just signed a new deal there. He's played Premier League with West Bromwich Albion before. Very tough tackling. A bit like Don Ball, I suppose, but maybe, with more of a mainstay player. Could pick a pass, tough tackling, only 26. You put him into the McKenna machine.
Question here for Charlie in the chat. This is a wild take. Morsey in the starting 11, but he's not the captain for me. Right, Charlie. So who is your captain? Because I think that is an absolute nonsense take, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I know it's your opinion, but who do you think is going to be captain if it's not Sam Morsey?
Yeah, exactly. Would have to be a new signing. I can't see that happening. I mean, look, Morsey and McKenna are, that's his man, isn't it? But yeah, they're two names, Grimes and Samfield. I mean, Samfield is someone you could put into the McKenna coaching model. He's 26. You've seen how well Burgess has developed in that system. Who knows with someone like that? And look how Morsey's actually developed. I mean, like I say, he had a very under the radar Football League career. You know, he was a mainstay at Wigan.
What did you think of Sam Morsey, Matt, when he came in? Because for me, he was just your defensive midfielder.
Yeah, I mean, look, when he signed, we did say he has potential to be sort of a really good captain for Town. It seemed obvious he was going to be the captain because Lee Evans had the armband to start that season, didn't he? Do you remember?
HCH 9990 says Chaplin captain.
No, let's stop changing your captains around, everybody. It's going to be Morsey. It's a ludicrous conversation. Yeah, I mean, look, don't underestimate the fact that under the radar players getting a second bite at the cherry like Morsey to go at a Premier League run. You could certainly see that in some of these signings coming through. Exciting. Who might end up in the middle of the park?
Interesting, wasn't it? Interesting when you talk about Sam Morsey, obviously Chaplin, Christian Walton. They all made the drop down.
Exactly, yeah.
But I bet they never thought they'd make the leap up another league to be playing in the Premier League.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
football's fine lines, isn't it? I mean, it's like 1% here and there, the marginal gains on it. You know, there for the grace of God go people that are playing Premier League.
Charlie, why are you making Gurev captain? He wasn't even captain at Leeds. He said, so you're saying you bring in an experienced Premier League midfielder who has Prem experience to be captain by a player who has never played in the Premier League? None of these players have played in the Premier League. Why would you change your captain on one of the best captains we've had for absolute years?
Let's move on from this ludicrous conversation. Sorry, this is like stupid.
Well, everyone's saying in the conversation, no changing captain.
No.
Why are you looking upset in the dressing room? That's just nonsense talk.
No. Should we go to some wide players as we progressing up the pitch?
I've got. Well, we'll go with like attacking players. You could say wide players or.
So we all want Amari, don't we? That's a no-brainer, isn't it? That's a no-brainer. It's what's he going to cost is the thing, isn't it? But there'll be backup options, obviously. Maybe some of the names we've got here might be on there.
Oozle says Charlie is clearly drunk.
He's in a Sunday glass.
We've got a great name here in the chat. I don't know if he's a Brighton fan. Goldston Ghost. Need to shop abroad. Start spending over 100 million on players and FFP will do you. Well, it's interesting that if we can make a couple of signings by the end of June, Matt, they go into last year's accounts, don't they?
Yeah.
But I think we are hampered a little bit because it's over that 3-year sort of cycle. We've had a year in League One that counts in that as well. Yeah. So that might hamper us a little bit. JTP, we're not signing Somerville for 25 to 30 million. Well, that's not happening.
He's been linked to Chelsea and Liverpool this morning by Fabrizio Romano. So that tells you where he's going to be going, I think. So Amari, we all want to get Amari in. If we weren't to get him, then I'd probably go for Morgan Whittaker, who again is impressed in League One and the Championship. 19 goals last season, 8 assists. He scores that absolute worldie cutting in, doesn't he, at Portman Road? Linked to Lazio last season. I don't know what that kind of money you'd be talking. 10 million maybe? I don't think it'd be cost as much as what Amari Hutchinson would because he's coming from Plymouth, not Chelsea.
10 we've had on this probably.
But hey, look, he gives you everything that Amari gives you as well. Now, whether or not he's as good as Amari, I don't know. But I mean, look, certainly in front of goal he was 19. He scored double the amount that Amari did. But in a team that struggled as well, Rich, with losing their manager, and now they've got maybe you want to stay with Rooney. I don't know, but I think the pool of Premier League football would be too much. He's a really good player, him, and look, we've always liked him. Even when he was in League One, everyone was talking about getting him, weren't they? So I think he's decent. On the other side, I like Liam Miller, who was at Preston last season. He's actually on loan from Basel.
Is he Canadian?
Canadian.
Yeah, I thought he was Canadian.
You think Jason DeVos and Frank will put a word in? But he didn't put up great again. But he's only 24. Look, he didn't put up great amounts of stats here. I mean, he scores 5 goals and 5 assists in a Preston team that you might remember. Rich started off very well, didn't they? And then kind of tailed off. But I thought he was very good against us.
Talking of Preston, I see this morning that Ryan Lowe's transfer budget is going to be increased by 1.5 million in the summer. I'm thinking, all the best, Ryan. We're in the Prem. We're in the big money.
Yeah. But you're absolutely right. Yeah. We've moved on from there now, thankfully. But 24, just someone else there. I think if you measure his strengths and weaknesses and put them alongside someone like Broadhead, okay, you're not maybe getting the same amount of goals and assists, but certainly in terms of what he brings to the pitch and as a team player, I think they're pretty much par to par. So he's someone to look at. But I like those two. But yet most certainly Amari is the one I hope they will try and break the bank for. But again, like we said earlier on the phone, Rich, it's not a bottomless pit. If you're spending big money on Amari, then you're probably going to have to, just tighten up a little bit in other areas. Now, whether or not that's going to be defence or whatever, I don't know. But
just quickly in the chat, I've got a poll running on Twitter about how much. This is for everyone in the chat, and everyone can leave a comment on the YouTube if they want as well. How much realistically does everybody think that we are going to spend as a club in this window?
Yeah, it's a really good. I mean, look, Luton only spent 25 million, maybe. I mean, they were very unlucky to go down in the end, Luton. They only scored 5 goals less than what Man United did. So it goes back to our conversation earlier. They've conceded about 35 goals more than what they did. So I mean, I think that's where we should probably be looking with our.
Right, here we go. MK, 80 million. Rob Holmes, 80 million. Teddy G, 60 to 80 million. Stephen Parry, 80 million. JTP, 50 to 60. Ruben, 40 to 50. HCC, 9990, 40 million. Stephen Harrington, 50. 60 to 80, James Sargent. Sharon Guest, 50 million. Oozle, 50 to 70. I don't think Kieran McKenna, this is what they think that we're going to spend. Bury St Edmunds Blue, 75. Look, I don't think that Kieran McKenna is signing a new contract at Town, Matt, to spend 25 million this transfer window.
No, I do agree with that, but I don't see some of them other fees either, because you still got to pay wages on top. I don't know. It's going to be really interesting. We've never been in this space before, which is why I'm being a little bit cautious on it. Look, our transfer record still 4.5 mil for Serini. It's 20 plus years ago. That'll be burnt
on the first signing. I think we'll spend about 60 to 70.
Do you?
I think we will.
Wow.
I think we're going to give it a go. I don't think we're in here
I'm very excited if we do. I hope so.
I don't think we're going to here to make up the numbers. And Brilliant. There's also that look, I'm not saying we're going to sell him. You've also got Leif Davis. You don't know what happens in this transfer window. Someone might come and say, right, I'll give you 30 million. What would everybody do in the chat if you're offered 30 million for Leif Davis? Would you sell him?
He's so difficult to replace, though. That's the problem.
True.
So I've got his backup as being a free transfer from Newcastle in Paul Dummett. I don't know. I'd try and keep hold of him if I could. And maybe, if you've got Premier League safety, see what happens with him next season. I'm certainly think he's going to be knocking on the door of an England called up over the next.
I wouldn't be surprised next season he makes his in England debut. But I think we'll use the loan market wisely.
Yeah,
I think there'll be 2 or 3 free transfers in there, Matt. I think you'll look at that list. Yeah.
This is why I don't see it being that amount of millions. But
I think you're going to be signing at least 3 players over 10 plus million.
I hope so.
I think.
Be very
so that's going to be 30 to 40 there. That could be there with that. But I think people like Hutchinson, if you're signing him, it's obviously going to be a lot of these signings. It's going to be a certain amount. They're not paying the full, say, 20 million from Ari Hutchinson. It might be 10 million, 12 million up front and then add-ons.
Yeah.
Here you go. This is the Gov in the chat.
What's he saying?
Go for young developing players who, if you're relegated, are 12 months further into their progression with Premier League experience. Attack the league, but be ready to bombard the league below should we go down as everyone expects. This is why I'm signing players like Sheaf. He can play.
Yeah, like Whittaker, for example. I mean, they do what they can do already.
What you don't want is a Leeds when they went down, and that probably stopped them getting promotion, Matt. Them first few games when they're in a state of flux. Farker didn't. So Southampton as well, similar. Didn't really know who was staying or going up to the end of that transfer window.
Yeah, agreed.
And Leeds all wanted to jump ship, didn't they? Loads of their players, they didn't fancy playing in the Championship. Oh no, get me out now.
At the time.
Yeah, they didn't fancy it, and then that was obviously that first game at Town when they had they all available, and then
we lost 4-3.
So I've got a couple of wide players.
Who have you got?
Just a couple of names. Harry Wilson.
Yes. Good player.
Daniel James.
Mm-hmm. Like it.
The one I would sign is I've said a long time about him, but I think there's going to be teams higher up the league looking at him. Jack Clark.
Yeah, very good player.
And he's another player who's, if you go down, he can play. Look, he went to Spurs and he didn't really make it there. So look, he was Sunderland's
15 million minimum. He's going to be about the same as Murray, isn't he?
You look, Sunderland are in a right mess. I see today.
Yeah. Got manager
they might be going for St Mirren's manager.
Oh God, really?
So there might be someone there. They're in a bit of a muddle. Try and make a cheeky bid.
Yeah,
saying you're going to get him, but I'd be looking.
I think the sooner the Maresca gets appointed, I would imagine that's going to be in the next couple of days. Go into Fabrizio.
Mine says this time last year, Matt was wanting Tom Ince.
I was. Well,
JTP says Mikey Johnson. He was obviously on loan at West Brom from Celtic. He was very good there, wasn't he?
Where did Tom Ince end up going? Watford.
Yeah, he was at Watford.
Yeah, I thought he'd be someone who could help establish us in the Championship. Remember, I didn't think we were going straight through the division, everybody. But I think the sooner Maresca is appointed at Chelsea and Fabrizio says it's going to be in the next couple of days, the sooner we might see some movement on Amari Hutchinson, I think.
Look, I've also got Amad Diallo from Man U. I don't know what's going to happen to him there.
Good line.
Played a little bit towards the end of the season.
What about Sarmiento then? Because he's a wide player.
Well, I see in the chat, the Goldston guy in the chat a little while ago said 20 million for him. Can't see us playing. We wouldn't be paying that.
So good player.
Charlie says 15 million for Jack Clark. Yeah, I think if it's 15 million, I think
that could be a shout. You know,
we'd go from him.
Yeah.
Phil Blundell, I've not forget you in the chat. We've been rumoured Kambembe from Watford. I think he's the lad who had the shot from the halfway line, Matt. There, right at the end of that game.
Yeah.
When he plays, he's a centre midfielder.
Oh my God! Yeah, do you remember?
So I know you've got Sammy Smodics on your list.
Yeah. So we're talking about central attacking midfielders. Smodics. Yeah. I mean, he's from Colchester. Again, you know, we go back to the top of the show. We're talking, you know, Essex lads. Look, the thing about Smodics, right, is it Daryl Murphy syndrome? Because if you look at the previous 2 seasons to the one we've just had, he scores 6 goals, 5 goals, and suddenly he scores 27 goals out of nowhere. So is it just a flash in the pan? And you're probably going to have to pay quite a bit of money for him. I mean, look, you're talking at least 10 million, I would say, or maybe 7 to 8. But you've got the add-ons on top.
Well, Ipswich Jules says Smodics, no thanks, too old, 1 season wonder.
If you look at if you measure his attributes across Connor Chaplin's, again, they're pretty much on par with each other. Smodics has just scored double the amount of goals in the last season. But we've always liked him, even when he was at Peterborough. We used to mention him, didn't we?
But this is where, and then the Goldston Go says, that's my point. You need to shop out the English Premier League, and this is where you're saying about Smodics, and I've got this guy on my list as well, and Stephen Parry. He'd go for Callum O'Hare. He's on a free from Coventry, and this is where sometimes you've got a Sammy Smodics, good player, but he's going to cost you what, 10 million, Matt? Say 10.
Yeah.
Callum O'Hare for free. Yeah,
exactly. So you've got, well, exactly. If you're trying to sort of tighten up on the money elsewhere, you might go for the free transfer. Look, we're talking about good players here, aren't we? It's just who's going to fit into the system.
He did sign. Paul P says, didn't he sign a new contract? He did sign a new contract.
I think bubbling under Smodics could be a Finn Azaz. I know he's only just really signed that deal.
I always liked him when he was at Plymouth. Always liked him at Plymouth. Very good player. They signed him for 2 million, didn't they?
Yeah. Scott Twine, always liked him.
There you go. Look,
shot.
Ashton shopped in the French divisions when at Bristol. I remember they got Jeju, was it? He signed down there.
I don't know. So, well, when we had Ashton on, didn't he? He said it was very difficult to go into European markets now post Brexit, but we'll wait and see. I mean, maybe that won't be too much of an issue now in the Premier League, of course. And of course, don't forget Morgan Whittaker can play Cam as well. He can play centrally.
I've got one for there. Carvalho from Liverpool on loan. Obviously, I think he got 9 goals in 19 games.
Very good. Very good. That's a really good signing for them, actually.
It depends because obviously they got Arne Slot in there now, Liverpool, and he might want to have a look at him, but I don't really see him featuring there. So
players that have just done a championship run going to be playing in Champions League football for them. Seems unlikely, doesn't it? So I mean, look, they are the kind of players you could maybe capitalise on, I suppose. Yeah, absolutely.
What strikers have you got, Matt? Because obviously we've got George Hurst at the minute.
Well,
we've got Ali Al Hamadi. We don't know what's going to happen. He might stay. He might go on loan. Kiefer Moore, is he on your list?
He is. Yeah, I've always liked Kiefer, and I would give him another season. I think. Again, you're talking about no one's played in the Premier League. Yeah, here's someone who's been part of a promotion push for us. Obviously, has enjoyed it. Had a great loan spell for us. I know it tailed off a little bit after Easter and the international break, a bit like Leeds. But I think for a season, absolutely, let's get him in. Worth his weight in gold, I think. What would happen with Ali? I don't know.
Rax Max, right on Kiefer Moore. Rax Max says, would they go back in for Gallagher from Blackburn? And HCH says, not for me. Would they go back in? Because I think all along, He was their number one target, Matt, to replace George Hurst.
He did play Premier League for Blackburn. I'm right in thinking. I've not looked that up. Maybe, I don't know. That's
no, we don't want Alex Gilliard. That's
Look,
the one from the past.
The one we both like is Latte Laff at Middlesbrough, isn't it? He's both on both our lists, isn't he? I mean, he got signed out of.
He was 5 million, wasn't he, from Atalanta?
Atalanta wasn't so. Look, they've just won the Europa League, so he wasn't getting.
And his agent did say he wants to play in the Premier League. You're probably going to have to double that, Matt.
Yeah. But look, he plays in that one up top. Very good at pressing the ball. You saw the energy he had against Ipswich. Very good header of the ball, despite being a bit smaller in size. That seems a no-brainer to me. But yes, I think you're right. It would be double the money. So I think you're looking at 10 million. But he's got a great shot in him. Remember that Leeds game in the 4-3, cuts across the side of the box.
We are not signing Brozier from Chelsea for 30 million, Phil Blunder. Not a chance. I've got three. Well, I've got Marcus Force. Marcus Force. He's on. Oh yeah. He's on Boroughs. He was at Brentford.
Yeah, I remember him at Brentford.
Ben Brereton Diaz
at Villarreal currently.
He was at Sheffield United. He scored, I think, 5 or 6 goals, a couple of assists for them in the relegation.
Yeah. Like it.
Colton Morris from Luton.
Luton,
I think is it Adebayo plays for Luton as well?
Yeah.
The other kid.
Yeah.
He's on there, and Liam Delap.
You've always liked him, haven't you?
Yeah, I like Liam Delap. I think he's a good player.
On loan from Manchester City, Delap.
Yeah, and he's not going to play. I don't think he's going to play for City.
No, it seems unlikely. Yeah, I would agree with all of those. I think they're good options. What about Ellis Sims? You liked him, didn't you?
Well, the thing was, it was interesting, wasn't it, at the start of the season, and you see Town fans on the socials, he's rubbish, he ain't got a lot of goals. Now, Kieran McKenna knows a player. And we were obviously linked with him, and look at the end of the season, look at the run he had after Christmas. He scored a lot of goals. I think Coventry will be looking to keep hold of him, Matt, obviously, with they just missed out on the playoffs. I think they're going to be quite strong next season in the champ. I think
they'd have to keep hold of him to be strong.
Yeah, they want to keep him. They want to keep Hadji right. Obviously, O'Hare's going. So, I think if you're going to go for Sims, you're going to probably pay 15 million. I think you'd be looking for him. We're not having Norman Greenwald, Drinan. No, thank you.
Are you loaning Ali out then?
I said when we done our show the other week about who we're keeping. Yeah. I was keeping Jack Taylor
and January, wasn't it?
And I was keeping Ali to January, and I'm seeing how they go because we can't be clearing everybody out. I think I made it. I needed to sign 10 players as it was, so I think I'd keep it. There's another one. Is it Jefferson from Sheffield United? I think he's been linked before. He's only 20, experienced player, right? I'm not saying we would sign this player. Mikel Antonio, been released by West Ham.
Yep, used to play up top on his own. Sturdy player, got international experience. Yeah, don't disagree with that. What about Shay Adams?
He's on my list. Shay Adams is on it. I've got so many players on it, blimey.
Yeah.
There's so many.
Here's one
Ollie McBurney, another one.
Oh, yeah. You're getting all these Sheffield United players out.
Well, I'm just saying. I think he's not a bad player, McBurney, but he seems like a bit of a knob to me. And I want whoever's coming in, you've got to buy into that ethos.
Exactly. You don't want any bad bits in there.
No, you don't want anyone coming in.
I know Ollie McBurney particularly, but he's had a few issues, hasn't he, off the pitch previously. Here's one for you. We were talking about. So Borja Marial, who plays for Getafe, so that's one of the clubs in Madrid, sort of mid-table team in Madrid. Small club, really, only holds 16,000. You might recall that I think it was Unal who went from Getafe to Bournemouth, which allowed Kiefer Moore to come to us on loan.
I think he's signing permanently for them, isn't he?
Permanent for them, yeah. So Borja Marial, he originally was at Real Madrid. He went to Wolfsburg on loan. Don't think he pulled up any trees there. Went to Roma, where he scored something like 10 goals in 31 appearances. I think they then changed the manager over. Mourinho came in and didn't really fancy him, so he went back to Real, and Getafe bought him for about 10 million euros off the back of that. He was having a fantastic season in the league last season. I think he scored something like 15 goals in 27 appearances. Might have been knocking on the door of a Euro spot, and then he got a knee injury, so he's now out until his recovery either later this month or next month. He got links up until his injury. He got links with Arsenal because I think you never really know in Spain, but obviously everyone has to have a release clause in their contract. I think it's something like 15 million quid. Now, you'd imagine that Arsenal would be looking at someone who with a bit more pedigree than Borja Marial, I would have thought. But he might be someone that Ipswich could say, look, he's proved it in a mid-table La Liga side. He could be somebody that could come in at Portman Road and you know, his strengths are like pressing and you know, running long balls, and you know, he's like a Hurst. I think he's a Hurst but a goal scorer. So he might be that much alluded Kiefer Moore Hurst hybrid that we've always longed for.
Just quickly, we've got about 5 minutes because Matt's got to go. We can do it in an hour.
Make me sandwiches, yeah.
Just so in the chat, put what position you would be aiming at first, where you're looking to fill, like goalkeeper, centre back, midfielder. Just quickly, Trevor Amos says Lawrence Shankland. He scores a lot of goals. I don't
know if he's good enough for the Premier League, because when he moved out of the Scottish leagues into Belgium, he didn't really do anything. But yes, I've always liked him. It's just that I don't know. Don't know if
JTP says Tammy Abraham is up for sale at Roma. Apparently,
is he really? How much would he cost, man? He's done well there, to be fair. Well, he did well under Mourinho. I don't know what he's been like since Jose left.
Golston Ghost says this is where the non-big clubs survive. Scouting networks in South America and lesser leagues. This takes time, and this is where you look at Brighton and look at the model. Look at the mold they've got. So
that won't have passed.
Gov says goalkeeper, centre back. Rob Holmes says centre back or right back. Charlie says centre back. Stephen Parry says centre back. Norman Greenwald says midfield. Paul P says midfield. What about you, Matt? Where are you going first?
I think I would maybe try and make Amari that first signing, because I think that would give it the fan base. You know, we're talking about momentum of back-to-back promotions and riding the crest of the wave.
Here you go.
Then it dipped.
Goldston Ghost has got his head. He's put some great comments in.
Exactly.
If you haven't subscribed, Goldston Ghost, hit that button and come back, because we like.
Did you ever go to the Goldston ground? Did you ever go?
No, I went to the Withdean.
Yeah,
but he says back four 100%. You can't outscore teams in this league.
We said it at the top, didn't we? And Don Goodman, as much as we criticise Don Goodman, you've seen the amount of goals that they've shipped. But yeah, I think Amari, you know, we've had the back-to-back, and, you know, everyone wants to keep Amari. To be able to sign him off the back of Maresca, suddenly getting appointed at Chelsea would be great. Obviously, it dipped a little bit, didn't it, with all the stuff around McKenna. That would be a real flagship signing for us, I think. But look, the summer is long. A lot of players on our list here.
Gov says you don't need centre-backs to improve defensively. You need a system change, and that probably means Davis gets the reins on. Gov, where did you manage? Sunday morning? Shut up.
I agree with Goldston now. I think you're not going to outscore you. The Premier League is divided, isn't it? You've got your top six all pushing, then you've got your mid-tables, and you've got everybody trying to survive, not and get relegated, I think. And they're the games that you've got to try and win and not conceding, aren't they? So it makes sense defensively. But then you're going to say goodbye possibly to players that you've got an emotional attachment to, like your Wolfendens or your Burgesses or wherever it might be. So, but this is the game we're in now. You're at the top table. You're dining with kings.
And this is where I'll start with the goalkeeper. And there was a few people commenting on one of my posts on Twitter about, keep Aladke. You know, why would you not keep him? People have got to realise that the step up from...
Yeah.
It's like Kieran says in that interview, if you haven't watched it on Town TV, it's free. There's another thing. You're paying £5 a month to subscribe.
I'm paying £5, yeah.
Yet they give you a 51-minute interview with Kieran McKenna. And he said the leap from League One to the Championship and the leap from the Championship to the Premier League, the Championship to the Premier League is a lot bigger.
Yeah.
You know, so it's massive.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we're just going to have to see what's happening.
I wonder if any of these names will come to fruition and when.
We've got enough. We've got enough.
We've got enough there. They'll be watching, won't they? Ashton McKenna will be watching.
We've done enough for about 2 or 3 squads here. Look, there's been some great comments in the chat this afternoon. Like I say, leave your comments in on the YouTube and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Enjoy the sun, Matt.
Hopefully I won't get burnt.
What you making in your sandwiches today?
There's ham in the fridge and I've got chicken in the fridge. So are
you going for sandwiches or are you going for bagels?
I'm going to be a bagel, I think.
Bagels.
Yeah.
Essex to win today, hopefully.
Hopefully, and I'll try not to kick my pint over like I did Wednesday.
Yeah. He had a full pint, everybody, and he knocked it over. Much to the annoyance. She didn't say anything, the woman in front, but she didn't look happy as she was like getting her coat up and quickly as it was all sort of rolling down the step.
Yeah, she was very polite, wasn't she?
It's just one of them things, isn't it? But I think we've had a good show. I hope everybody's enjoyed it.
Yeah, very good.
Really good. We'll be back Tuesday night for the cricket show at 9, and then I think we're back. You and Gov will hold the reins next Sunday because I'm not about. So
A week is a long time in football.
It could change.
In town, isn't it?
It could change.
See what happens.
Times, days,
yeah.
they all could change, Matt. But we've done an hour. Everybody get outside, enjoy the sun. The sun is shining finally. But say it quietly, Matt, because it'll probably go back in. Hope you have a good time at the cricket. And
cheers,
take an extra pair of trousers. And
I will.
We will see you all on Tuesday night. All the best.
All the best, everyone.